International education is a bit towards the expensive side for a lot of students. Scholarships are of different types. The more popular the program, the more competition there would be for scholarships. Because
What sort of scholarships are available?
we Asians or Indians are not the only ones applying to these universities. Apply as soon as possible for the scholarships.
How to apply for these scholarships? What's the process in there?
So if you've received offers and they have scholarships open, apply as soon as possible.
I'm not really a very good student and I do not really maintain good grades.
Scholarships are somewhat dependent on what the department has for that annual that year. So yes, you have to have the GPA if it's mentioned in your scholarship letter.
Is there a possibility that the university will cancel my scholarship? Hello all and welcome to yet another session of Insights on Overseas Education with ETA Education Services. With the success of the past two sessions that we've conducted, we've got a lot of inquiries, and based on the demand, of course, we've got Mrs. Fiona Claudia Vashisht with us yet again to answer certain questions. Of course, the questions that are pertinent, the questions that were germane to certain students, and the questions that they've shared with us. So, based on the questions that we've heard and we've received, of course, the idea that we've decided to cater to today happens to be the idea of scholarships. Of course, we all understand that when we talk about overseas education, it happens to be an exorbitant ordeal for certain people. It isn't really very cheap a thing, rather, it's on the expensive side of things, particularly if you're talking about undergraduate courses or courses that are probably based in the United States of America. So now this hot question of what kind of scholarships are available to us, particularly as Indians, or for that matter for international students, we've got Mrs. Vashisht to go on and answer certain questions for us. So madam, welcome to yet another session with us, and we really thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me here again.
Great. So, madam, of course, with the insights that you've shared with us in the past two episodes, particularly related to MIM, we've got a number of students who've actually got back to us and told us how that information was very beneficial for them to decide whether they've got to go for an MBA or an MIM for that matter.
Right.
Now, a common question that we hear from a lot of students happens to be a question related to financial assistance. We understand that when we talk about overseas education or when we talk about universities abroad, they
Yes.
offer scholarship to people. Now, my first question to you is, for us international people, what sort of scholarships are available? What are the scholarships that are there in the market?
Okay, so like you said, that international education is a bit towards the expensive side for a lot of students, and everyone doesn't come from A-class business families, and most of them who actually go abroad would be from the middle class backgrounds, right? So for them, of course, the international scene is that students do have a lot of opportunities to apply for scholarships. Scholarships will help them, assist them financially. People who also take a loan, an education loan is of course one of the major things that they opt for. A scholarship would help them cater to the expenses that they have to bear, say living out there, right? So there are certain scholarships which are high in amount, say for example 50%, 70% of the fees. Then there'll be certain scholarships, say for example it will be 25% or 30% of the fees. So it kind of helps most of the students to get by their expenses, and people who get higher amounts of scholarships, of course for them it would be somewhat a big deal.
Okay, so when we talk about these scholarships, if I understand it right, of course, I can utilize my scholarship for a number of things, right? So, are these scholarships only for, say, for example, my academic fee, or can it also go on and cover my living? Say, for example, if I'm living outside the university campus.
Okay, so scholarships are of different types. Some scholarships, of course, are 100% scholarships. When you're talking about, catering to the living expenses, or say the travel expenses, or the visa fee for a lot of countries is pretty high as well. So there are certain scholarships which would actually give the students that. So those would be the higher amount of scholarships. So 100% would be catering to the entire fee, the tuition fee that the student has to pay. Plus, it would be the living expense that they have to shell out living in a certain place of a normal amount, of course. And then, of course, it would also cater to your travel expense, for example. So, to and fro ticket once you reach the university and once you have to depart from the university. Yeah.
Ah, all right. That's pretty comprehensive. I
Yeah.
understand. So another question that I have is, of course, even you understand, any and every student who comes and wants to go overseas to study
Hmm.
looks for certain scholarships that
Hmm.
are available, right?
Right.
Now, is there any eligibility criteria? I mean, should I have a specific GPA to apply for a university scholarship, or what exactly should I have?
Okay, so as I mentioned that there are different kinds of scholarships, right? So there are basically two kinds of scholarships which are there for students. So the first one would be a merit-based scholarship, which of course by the name itself, we understand that the student should have some merit or should have some academic, a good academic profile, maybe something to add on, say, for example, work experience or projects or something else that they've done. And also the second kind would be the need-based scholarships. So the need-based scholarships are for those people who do not have such an income, an annual income, which would help them to apply for a need-based scholarship. But here I would like to add that need-based scholarships are only for those people who come within the income bar, the bracket of the annual income that their entire family earns. So by family I mean the immediate family, like the parents. It doesn't include anyone else. So that we'll have to check for different universities. Different countries offer different aid, and need based basically is offered mostly by US universities.
All right. So, what I understand is if I am planning to, say, for example, apply in Europe, the possibilities of me getting a need-based scholarship would not really be very high.
Yes, yes, it would not be high in Europe. On its own, when we talk about certain degrees in Europe, they are, free of cost, or they only have registration charges or domestic cost attached to it. So any which way, it would be very less if you talk about, say, Netherlands or Germany or these kind of countries. But otherwise, yes, if somebody is looking for a need-based scholarship, then the undergrad students would have more options because there are more options for them, and master students would have less options, and it also depends on the kinds of departments where they're applying for programs.
All right,
Yeah.
fair enough. Madam, forgive my naivety, but I just have this curious question. So, we understand that different universities have different programs. Students apply for different programs. So, a very basic question that I have is, say, for example, a student is applying for an MBA.
Hmm.
There's another student who's applying for, say, for example, civil engineering. Somebody's going for architecture. Somebody's going for aerospace. Is there a difference in the scholarships that these people get, or the possibilities of scholarship? Say, for example, is there an idea that an MBA would get less scholarship, while a person who's, say, for example, going for a technical course will get more scholarship?
Okay, so when we talk about different departments and different programs, right? So if you talk about a business school, there are various programs there. So including an MBA, there are also other programs as well, like MIM and specific master's degrees. Then you have the technical on the engineering side, the STEM related programs as we call them. So yes, different departments, different universities would have different amount of scholarships. But yes, for an MBA professional or who wants to apply for this program, there the options would be possible, but it would be very, very competitive as well. So if we talk about popular programs, the more popular the program, the more competition there would be for scholarships, because we Asians or Indians are not the only ones applying to these universities. And so generally we Asians or Indians, we would like scholarships, right? Anybody would like scholarships, and we have a lot of students whose first question is, can we actually get a scholarship or not? So for us, we have that option to apply for certain scholarships, which would be specifically for people coming from certain backgrounds as well. So if we talk about the origin part of it, so there are certain universities who will offer scholarships to people coming from Asian countries. So it's India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, China, right?
Oh.
Then there would be certain gender related scholarships as well. So people say, for example, if I want to apply for an MBA, so I'm from the other gender, the female gender, right? So I would have more options for scholarships as well, because they want the women to come to the fore when it comes to certain areas as well.
Wonderful.
So yes, so these kind of things are always there. And yes, scholarships are somewhat dependent on what the department has for that annual that year, right?
Okay.
So some years have more scholarships. Some years for those universities, if they haven't received much funding from, say, businesses or NGOs or the government, then they would have less options. So that's also there. So it's a bit tricky. So when we talk about understanding where the scholarships are, due diligence and research is required, and that's why we are here.
I can get an idea about that when you say that. So, I understand that the process itself needs a lot of details. You've got to, like you said, look into it,
Right.
note the things as well. I understand it will be difficult. However, is there a possibility? So, when you talk about all these things,
Hmm.
when somebody has to apply for a scholarship,
Right.
what's the process that goes in there? I mean, I've also heard that there are deadlines, and scholarships are based on deadlines as well. So if you can only go on and
Hmm.
enunciate on this idea, how
Okay.
to apply for these scholarships? What's the process in there?
Okay, so again, different kinds of scholarships have different kind of deadlines, but the first thing that I tell any student is apply as soon as possible for the scholarship. So even if your deadline is say the next year or the same year where your when your program commences, you should apply at least the year previous year to that. So if you have an offer letter in hand, apply as soon as
So
possible.
if I have to opt for September 26 intake, say for example, when exactly should I be looking at scholarships?
So your application should go by, say, for example, September, October of 2025, right? So by December or before December, you should receive a decision on your application. So if you've received offers and they have scholarships open, apply as soon as possible. So that is something that you should always opt for. Apply for admissions as soon as possible, apply for your scholarships as soon as possible. Also, when we talk about different kinds of scholarships, you also have external scholarships. So if we talk about external scholarships, those are scholarships which are given by other people, so or other organizations. For example, if I talk about the Chevening scholarship, right, or the Rhodes scholarship, so these scholarships are at an international level. They're given by external organizations and there is more competition to it. So you have to apply by say October, November of the previous year. So that is how it goes by.
All right. So I understand again just the way admission process happens, and it's a fantastic thing that you said. What I concur from what you said was that even the students who've applied now and have already got an admit, they have
Yes.
this when we are in the starting of December right now.
Yes.
This is the time for them to start looking for scholarships as well.
Exactly. So a lot of scholarships have their major deadlines in January. That is like a general deadline. So you'll have to check based on which university you've applied at. So a lot of students, even our own students, have received offers now for the September 2025 intake for different countries. So we are also looking out for scholarships and preparing applications for them. So now, yes, of course, would be the right time to apply for them.
All right, fair enough. And when you say this is the right time for them to apply, just out of curiosity, what will be the last time to apply for the scholarship if somebody's looking for, say, for example, somebody's got offer now and is looking for scholarship?
Okay, so the last time, as I said, we have to check the deadline. So again, that is a bit of research that goes on our part. We have to check which kind of scholarships are available. So if a student is looking out for, say, a scholarship which is, already added to the application. So there are some cases, or most of the cases, we can say that the scholarships are given automatically along with the offer letter. So that is something which they process during the application of submission. And the other, of course, would be where they have to apply for a higher amount of scholarship. So there they would have to apply a bit separately on the same website, of course, of the university, and maybe add an SOP or a kind of a statement which they require and then apply. So the deadlines kind of vary, but the general deadline would be around January. Some might extend furthermore as well.
All right. Another thing that I want to ask, madam, is so the scholarship that we receive, is this for the entire program or is this semester based?
This is for the entire program. So if the program is for 1 year, say if you talk about UK or any European country, the programs are for generally a year. So the scholarship that you would receive would be for the entire year, and it would be subtracted, we can say, from the tuition fee when you have to pay it, right? So it will be for the entire year. If it's a 2 year program, then it will be mentioned on the scholarship letter whether they will disburse it in both the years separately or they'll disburse it in the first year. So that also we'll have to check. For undergraduate students, if somebody has applied for a bachelor degree, for them, they have more options of scholarships because their degree lasts for at least 3 to 4 years, right? So if they've done well in their first year, they've got a good GPA, they've done some internships, they've done a lot of projects and stuff like that, they would have the option to apply for another scholarship for the second year, third year, fourth year, things like that.
All right, that's wonderful to know.
Yeah.
Madam, it's a very simple question. I'm very sorry, but imagine that I am not really a very good student and I do not really maintain good grades.
Mm.
And my performance in the first semester and in, say, for example, the first year is lackluster.
Mm.
Is there a possibility that the university will cancel my scholarship?
That's a good question. So for those students where their degree is more than a year, right? So it's say 2 years, or for a bachelor student it's 3 years or 4 years. Yes, that is a possibility because these details are mentioned in the scholarship letter. So they have to maintain a certain grade in order for them to get the scholarship, which has been divided over the number of years. So yes, you have to have the GPA if it's mentioned in your scholarship letter.
All right, that means that if I get scholarship,
Yes.
got to ensure that
Yes.
I make the best of that money.
Right.
Great, wonderful. So when we talk about these scholarships, madam, I understand you said that there's a process that's involved in there, right?
Mhm.
Now, when we talk about this process, I understand that for application, submitting the application to a university, there are certain essays that are involved as well. So, are there essays that I have to write, or is there any specific, commitment to community service, something like that, that I need to do in order to get my hands on a scholarship?
Okay, so I think you've asked me two questions, right? So the first part, of course, of your question, there are essays when you have to apply for a higher amount of scholarship. So if, as I said, if you have say 50% or 70% of scholarship that you're looking at, then there will be essays. There'll be certain statements that you have to write. It will of course depend on the kind of questions that they want to ask. So mostly it would be, why should they give you a scholarship instead of the others who are applying for the same? And for certain scholarships which are not very high in amount, for them it's kind of a part of the application. So they check your profile. If it's a merit based scholarship, they'll check your profile and see whether you do come into the same area, whether they can give you a scholarship or not. And if you do have the profile, they'll attach it to your offer letter. Okay, now let's come back to the latter part of your question. So you did ask whether there's something that
Community service would be.
the student has to do in order to get that scholarship, or once the student has received a scholarship, is there something that he has to do extra? So yes, there are certain universities where if they've awarded the student say a scholarship of a high amount, so say for example it's 30% and above or something like that, they would want the student to act as an ambassador of either the university or the department where he's studying. So that is something which has to be done. But I'll say it's nothing which would take up a lot of time of the student. In fact, it will, give him the confidence to do a lot of other things as well. So if you are representing a university, at that level, at an international level, it will add a lot of confidence. It will give you some exposure, and it will help you to build your profile as such, right? And also, community service is a part and parcel of it. So even if you are not a student who's been awarded a scholarship, that is something that you need to be a part of. So any student who goes there should be a part of some kind of community service there.
All right, I get that idea. Fair enough. Also, just one more thing, madam. Of course, I understand that you said there are essays that are a part of the scholarships. Along with this, do we also need letters of recommendations from somebody for a scholarship?
Okay, in certain cases, yes, but again, that depends on the requirement of the university. So, in most of the scholarships which are of a good amount, there, yes, at least one or two recommenders are required.
And are we talking about famous people here? Say, for example, if I get a recommendation from the president of the country, say, for example.
No, that would not actually work. So when we talk about recommendations, that should come from people who've actually known you, who've worked with you, or who've seen you grow, say academically or professionally, and they've spent some time with you or seen you do something. So that's a fallacy when people say, okay, if I get a a recommendation from the Prime Minister, for example, no, that will not guarantee you an admission or a scholarship, right? So you have to get a recommendation from a person who's known you professionally, academically. That's how it works.
So that's wonderful information. Thank you so much for clarifying that. I'm not joking. One such case actually came to us wherein a person had a recommendation from the president of our country, and of course the same idea that it doesn't really guarantee you the admission or the scholarship you're looking for. So I understand, madam, that the scholarship process is pretty in depth, and one really needs to like we've gathered from the information, do a lot many things to ensure that one gets hands on some good scholarships. So, while concluding this, I'd just like to ask you if you have to point out at that one single most factor which, according to you, is the most important factor that a student should consider when applying for a scholarship, what would that number one thing be?
Okay. The number one thing that I would suggest students to take into account would be the competition that is there. Why competition? Because when you understand that there are other people who are applying for the same scholarship. So, say for example, the scholarship is 50% of the tuition fee. So, there will be maybe 1500, 2000 people applying for that scholarship, and everybody comes from a varied background. We are not aware about what kind of backgrounds or what kind of profiles they have. So, we have to understand that we have to make the student's profile look the best. Answer any essay questions that are required to the best of our abilities, curate them accordingly. And yes, if you start your entire application process way in advance, say a year or so, then there are certain steps which can be taken to build your profile to come up to that level academically, with test scores, with internships and stuff like that. So if we take that into account, the competition part, then we can do a lot of things to make the best of a student's application.
Great, wonderful. Thank you so much, madam. That was a lot of detailed information, like I said, about scholarships. I'm sure it will help a lot of students. And I'm sure that all of you must have taken a lot of nuggets of wisdom from what madam said. However, I do understand that the scholarship process for different universities just might be different. You might have a little different essays, or you might have some requirements that probably does not really become a general requirement. So anyone who's got any question about a scholarship that they want to apply for, if there's anyone who's applying to a specific university and is confused about what to do in terms of the scholarships, we encourage anyone and all of you to go on and write your queries in the comments. We at ETA can be reached on a number of social media handles, be it Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube for that matter. You can reach us and you can ask your questions, and we will try to get back to you and make your scholarship process this time hassle free. Once again, thank you so much for being a part of these sessions, madam. Your insights really go on and help our students in their application process, and they realize their dreams of studying abroad. Once again, thank you everyone who's been listening to us. We will see you in the next session based on any and every need and requirement that you have. Thank you, people. Have a fun day.